Day 80, the William Westerfield house. Boy, oh boy, if the walls could speak. Okay, so Alamo Square Park in San Francisco, right, is a square, just exactly as it sounds like. So let's pretend that Painted Ladies, Postcard Row, Intro to Full House houses, let's pretend that they're over here, right, on this side, which is Steiner Street. This corner right here, opposite the Painted Ladies, that's where the William Westerfield house is. And it's one of those homes, like if you were to walk by, you know that there's something up with this house. It was stop number 3 or 4 on my citywide scavenger hunt. I think it was number 3. But the William Westerfield house was built by a German confectioner who hit it big during the gold rush, and he originally built that house for him and his 10 kids to live in. I want to say he built it in 1865, so like 15 years after the gold rush-ish. It was a lot bigger than the house is currently, but after the earthquake and fires, I don't know if he was forced to give it up or if he was pressured to give it up, but part of his carriage house, which is essentially a parking lot for horses and buggies, and then his huge rose garden, he gave up. Again, I don't know if he was pressured or forced or whatever, but then after that, he sold the property. He sold the house to John Mahoney, who built the Palace Hotel, or is the architect for the Palace Hotel, you know what I mean. So after that, a group of Russian czars moved in, and they turned the basement into a nightclub, and it became known, while the Russian czars were living there, it became known informally as the Russian Embassy. At one point, it is rumored that Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, lived there. Again, I have the timeline a little bit confused, a little bit mixed up, and there was a satanic film that Mick Jagger was in. It was like a short indie film, all of like 12, 13 minutes. And anyway, look that up. It was like Mick Jagger was in it. And then if I'm not mistaken, one of the Manson people was in the film too. So at one point, the house was bought. It was divided up into units. It's actually very rare to have a single Victorian that's just one unit. It's much more common that they're like divided up into flats, etc. So at one point, like I said, it was renovated, turned into individual units, and the house was known to provide lodging to African American musicians who could not stay in the hotels in downtown San Francisco. So yes, it shocks people to realize that even San Francisco, California did indeed have segregation, just because we didn't have legalized slavery. But anyway, the last but certainly not least little factoid that I'll throw in there about this incredibly fascinating house is that a lot of musicians around the Summer of Love, Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, they were also known to frequent this house and the property. And I actually lived above the store that was owned by the guy who currently owns the house. So the previous owner of Distractions, which is no longer in business, I think he sold the business, he also owns a William Westerfield house. And I got this close to seeing the inside of it. But once I do get to go the inside the William Westerfield house, best believe I'm gonna make a video about it, because that is something that I have been waiting for. So, corner of, is it Fulton? Is it Fulton and Scott? I could have that intersection wrong, but it's like I said, kitty corner to the Painted Ladies, Alamo Square Park.